Hello, my friends, and welcome back. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Well, the Russians and the Americans are heading towards head-on collision course. Why? Unless they are behind the scenes like brothers. I will show you 3 articles here, and that's going to be bad. If this is for real, what Trump claims he's going to do, this is for real. Unless they are colluding behind the scenes. Let me show you. 3 articles. First one. Putin warns Trump of his new offensive in Ukraine's east within 60 days. Monday, 14th of July, 2025. What do you mean? What do you mean Putin warns Trump of his new offensive? And let me read further. Russian leader Vladimir Putin told US president, you see, Trump is the president, Putin is a leader. But and Zelensky is a Ukrainian president. So Putin told Trump during a phone call on July 3rd that he plans a new escalation in Ukraine's east within the next 60 days in order to reach the administrative borders of the oblasts Putin considers his own. What? So I tell you what I'm going to do? Or this is just a twist? I don't think it's anything new if you consider that Putin said this many times before. We're going to go and get all the oblasts back to Russia. However we want to call it. So it's not something new. But why would you warn and say I'm going to do it in the next 60 days? What is this? Ping pong? And he warns Trump. What do you mean he warns Trump? Well, why doesn't he warn Zelensky? Because Putin knows it's not Zelensky, but the guys behind the United States of America and 2 or 3 more other Western countries. Within 60 days, yeah, it's going to be that. Now, Trump, I'm ready for his announcement today, where he's going to say that we're going to put them up. You'll see that one. But put that together with this article. Coming from New Voice of Ukraine. China-Russia tighten ties as Lavrov, Wang Yi discuss Ukraine and the United States. So, Russian Foreign Minister Sergei Lavrov met his Chinese counterpart Wang Yi in Beijing on July 13th. According to Russian Foreign Ministry, the 2 sides discussed relations with the United States and prospects for a settlement of what Moscow calls the Ukrainian crisis. The importance of strengthening close coordination between the 2 countries on the international stage, including within the United Nations and its Security Council, the SCO, BRICS, G20 and APAC, was emphasized, the Russians claim. China's foreign ministry said the close contact between Beijing and Moscow should, and I'm quoting, contribute to each other's development and rejuvenation and jointly respond to challenges posed by a turbulent and changing world. That is the United States of America and the guys in the West. Beijing added that the 2 are also exchange views on the Korean Peninsula and the Iranian nuclear issue. Got it? So when the Americans with their baboons are going to continue and escalate the war in Russia, Russia has China. Now which one would you want to have? The Brits, bankrupt, the Germans, pussified and full of guilt-ridden. The French, all talk, no action, as Trump used to say, unless they get Napoleon back. But if you bring Napoleon Bonaparte back and he walk him by his little hand around Paris and he sees the new French, he's gonna say, fuck, get me back to the Hotel d'Invalides over there. I want to go back right there when he sees who he has to make the La Grande Armée. Zero, mon ami. So, but you want the Chinese? Well, the Chinese at least are organized and disciplined. These guys are, I feel like, I identify as a cock today. Cock-a-doodle-doo. Not that cock, but anyway. Alright, that gets me to the last topic right here. Business Insider. Satellite photos show how Russia is building up 5 of its secret nuclear bases. There's the map. Map, my friends, right there. And we have what? Russia has been upgrading and modernizing several nuclear bases for its European and Pacific forces. Why is that? Business Insider obtained new satellite images that show the major construction at the sites. These newer expansions offer clues about the Kremlin's plans for its arsenal and nuclear posture. Self-defense? No. Recent satellite images reviewed by Business Insider shows extensive construction of secret facilities, shrouded in fences and defended by covered guard posts in recent years at sites associated with Russia's nuclear facilities. The images, captured by US satellite imaging company Planet Labs, were taken in May and June. Leading analysts who study Russia's nuclear forces told Business Insider that the photos show new structures, roadworks, and modifications, with some sites undergoing rapid expansion. Those modernization efforts offers clues about Moscow's plans and contingencies for its nuclear forces amid the high tensions across Europe, stoken by the Kremlin's all-out war against Ukraine. Because Business Insider said this, they are operatives. Right there. This is their interpretation of what's going on over there, which is a twist. It's a narrative. It's a spin. All right? So right here, the Kremlin has often tried to intimidate the West, again, the operatives from Business Insider, by threatening to use its nuclear warheads. Did they threaten? Hey, did they? And has been doing so more recently in attempts to deter support for Ukraine. All right, my friends. So, the Russians, as I said many times before, could solve the conflict in Ukraine with one strike. One. And after that one, they give a deadline about 30 minutes. Or maybe let's give it, make it realistic, 2 hours. And in 2 hours, if in 2 hours, I would say like this, if in 30 minutes I don't get an answer, and in 2 hours the answer doesn't satisfy me because I impose these sanctions, it's an ultimatum, basically, okay? And in 2 hours that doesn't stop, we're gonna go further than that. But we already did it the first one, so we show you we're ready for the next, like the Americans. Remember the good Americans? Yeah. In the Second World War? Yeah. Remember when they told? Yeah. Remember when they told the Japanese, after they dropped the first atomic bomb on Hiroshima on the 6th of August 1945, they were already there. So the Japanese were dying. You know what I mean? They would not surrender because they were fanatics, man. They were fanatics for the emperor and all that. No, the Japanese, you know where the Japanese delegation was? In Moscow. I'm talking like Biden. Okay, so they were in Moscow. They're trying to make a deal with the Soviets to surrender to the Soviets. That's what happened. These guys are, we got to stop this thing. Like the landing. You remember the big landing in the Normandy? That was because the Soviets were coming over a Red Rover and would take all Europe. So they say, oh my God, these guys are going to reconstruct Europe and we can't. We got to stop them in the middle. That's how it was. Oh, you don't like that? But that's facts. People with statements, actions, anyway, and interpretations here and there. So in this case, that's why these guys dropped the atomic bomb. First one, war crime, 100%. Civilian city, 100%. And after that, the good Americans said, hey, to the Japanese, you either surrender unconditionally. That means you take your pants down, turn around, bend over, and I do whatever, whenever, how many times I want. And not only like that or so on. Then we're going to go to the next one. And they did Nagasaki. And after Nagasaki, on the 9th of August 1945, the good Americans told the Japanese people like this, we're going to go to the next one, which I think it was Yokohama. And then after Yokohama, we're going to go to, I don't know, Sapporo. And after Sapporo, we're going to go to something else. We're going to get all your civilian cities. There's terrorism right there and war crimes. Until you guys surrender or you are no more. That's it. So this is what they did. And then the justification was that stopped the war, shortened the war, and saved our boys' lives. Now, let's put that to Putin, and Putin says, okay, if we drop a few bombs, nuclear weapons, bombs somewhere over there, this will stop the war and save our Russian lives. Can he use that? And if no, why not? Oh, because it's a war of aggression? Oh my God, really? So that means if, let's say, a woman comes to you and she is very upset with you and then she slaps you, do you have the right to bend her over and rape her? No, you don't. No, you don't. Got it? So the same here. If I just go and grab her and bam, 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 do you have a right to do that? No. So the first one was the Americans. The second one would be the Russians, if you want. I'm just stretching it. Because the Japanese attacked us first. The woman slapped us first. And then we raped. Eh? Is that how it works? No, it doesn't work that way. You see, no, the Russians can't because he went and he did it without her doing anything to him. On the other hand, she slapped him. So, well, if you think that's okay, well, think about it. I don't know. I'm not going to go that. Fuck it. All right, my friends. I was about to talk about families and other things. So here it is, my friends. The Russians are getting ready. The Americans are getting ready. Where do you think it's going to go? I tell you where it's going to go. Until the Russians are hurting, and I'm not promoting that, but it seems like this would be the easy fix, unfortunately. You know, until you say, oh, what about the nuclear? How about you said the Americans are war criminals because they dropped 2 atomic bombs on 2 civilian cities. I'm not saying the Russians should drop it on Kiev. Not at all. Not at all. There are many other guys over there that you can use Oreshnik on if you don't want nuclear weapons. I don't know, 9 of them, I think, or 8 of them would be conventional, but would get the same power as a nuclear warhead. So go ahead, do it. Go ahead. So you have a lot of military over there, including, I don't know, some generals from NATO, probably organizing, but that's in Poland, far away. They're very courageous, but they're far away, so they cannot be struck. But they organize all this shit, or in Ramstein. Anyway, these guys have to stop it before it gets that way. And when the Russians gonna hurt these guys' interest a little bit, they will stop. They will stop. I guarantee you. You know why? Because these guys are weak, are spoiled, are baboons, bottom feeders, weasels. Thank you very much for being with me again today. Stay strong, stay smart, look for the truth, and be just.